Hello and good afternoon. You're watching the Policy Times Unleashing India Global Web Summit Series, a very special program today. And again, we will do on 17th with some of the prides of India. The Indians who are equally a global citizen and who have represented India and are representing India and Indianness across various lands of the world, various countries of the world. We often when I go abroad, I realize how much I love my country. And this is not an exception with all the people who are here. So when we are inside India, we often do not feel that our love, for the nation. But whenever I travel abroad, then we realize, okay, howsoever beautiful is the country, there is something special which is attracting me back to the land that I belong to. And I think Indians are absolutely famous for many beautiful behavioral, instincts or characters, which have actually made Indian citizens abroad very respectful and very welcoming. Today, whichever part of the world we go, there is absolute respect of India, the country, and our people. Now, the interesting part that Dr. Sekhar has taken under his leadership in last 10 years, and since last couple of years with Policy Times, that we are trying to bring development, or we are trying to connect everything to the context of nation building, because whichever country we go, whichever citizens we meet, there is something connected with the nation, and we have to make our nation proud. And so when our nation is proud, then we are also proud. We feel proud of that fact. Now, how do we act or behave, and our actions or our behavior actually translates into some benefits for our nation? Benefit for our nation means also benefit for the people that we belong to, that the nation has. So that is why Dr. Sekhar and us, we have started doing a lot of sessions on this. Today's session is very special, where we have some prides of India with whom we will discuss that how we all together can contribute back to the land you all belong to, and also contribute back for the country that we belong to. And next 30 to 40 years belongs to India. We are absolutely confident with the fact that we will be able to leverage that. Now, how overseas Indians community can come and contribute to leverage the next 30 years for our nation. This is a time we have to make India one of the best and one of the most advanced countries of the world. And if we can do it in the next 30 years, which we are very much capable of, now we just need to translate that. I'll be extremely happy to know some of the contributions that you are doing already, and what all in a structured manner can we do, which will take India where we all want to see India to be. So the chairman of the show is Dr. P.Sekhar, who is also chairman of Global Smart Cities Panel, Unleashing India. He is an author. He has authored more than 80 plus books, 100 books now, I think. And the kind of work that he is doing, and also mentoring us in taking Policy Times to new heights also. So we all encourage you, we all are with you to take even bigger works together in future. So with this, I will request Dr. Sekhar to kindly take the session forward. I will come in the end during the interaction.
Thank you, Akram. Thanks to all the participants today. Today's topic is enhanced role for overseas Indians, in the context that we say the sun never sets for overseas Indians. And this is more so compared to the fact that when we were young, we were always told that sun never sets in the British Empire. Because British was ruling so many countries. India is not ruling any country, and India has got never any desire to rule any country. But it has contributed much, much more than whosoever can be compared with. So the strange anomaly of sun never sets for the British Empire goes to sun never sets for global overseas Indians, for global growth. They work for global growth, so they are always a welcome commodity. Now, I will rush through this small presentation. This is just to give a flair before, as much I introduce today's speakers, and start with the ambassador who will be giving the guest of honor talk. So I had written so many books, like you said. One of them is on overseas Indians. There's a very elaborate book on what way overseas Indians can benefit, can contribute. It is growth of overseas Indians. It is not growth only for India. Now, when we talk of India, we all should know the complex nature of India. India is like almost 206 countries put together. That's what based on population. At the same time, in terms of area, it is far smaller. And it has got a complexity of, a 10,000-year-old civilization being free only for 70 years back. So whether we are a 70-year young country or 10,000-year-old country is something which we are allowed to capitalize and see. And we have got, multiple language, multiple religion, multiple culture, race, you name it, everything is maximum in India. So also the population. We were free as a 350 million country. No country would have done this. We added 850 million more people. Now, this 850 more million people, to make them an asset or a liability is left to us. So we are all trying to see that they are all assets. There are ways of making them assets. This particular series we started post-COVID. And when we say post-COVID, again, I repeat every time, it is post last year, March. We are not talking of any post-COVID disappearing and all. COVID is going to be lifelong with us, like one more sickness. It will find its own way of handling. But whatever it has done is a World War III, destroyed the economy, destroyed the psychological confidence, destroyed business, whatever it should not happen has happened. At the same time, it has brought people like us together. We could never have dreamt of people from 7 different countries sitting in one this thing, and we all joined just 5 minutes before the show, and we all will have our own work 5 minutes after the show. So this is something thanks to COVID. Just all with all the negative thing that has been done by COVID, this is one thing which is positive. Now, overseas Indians are a great asset not only to the country but to the whole world. The way we are contributing to the world's progress is something which is unbelievable. What we were planning to have, I had written an article on, sun never sets on overseas Indians. The culmination of so many people liked it. I made a small 5-minute video. Then I said, let us have one of the shows. We start having one of the shows. Then, there are so many participants, so many ways. Then we found the time differences are too heavy. We are having 2 shows. One is today at whatever time today, 2 o'clock. And one is on Friday. That is people from the West, Europe, USA, Africa. And all. So the idea is there are Indians who are very, very surprising that 210 countries have Indians in good numbers. We are 32 million people abroad. The Indian abroad themselves constitute almost a $1 trillion economy, more than 1/3 India's economy. And they are there to grow. They are welcomed everywhere. They are, wherever they are, they consider those countries as there. They contribute to the country's progress. They are never, only Indians. And they are never anti-Indians. Because there are few countries where after they go, they are anti their own country. There are few where when they go, they forget their country. Here are Indians who are like a lady given marriage. When a girl goes to marriage, for her, the whole family, her old home is also her home. The new home is also her home. So on that principle, they remit a lot of money to themselves. It is not to the government. We almost remit $86 billion, highest by any country. There are countries which has got far more number of people abroad, but they don't remit as much as Indians remit. And they are there in every sphere of life. When COVID was a little bit draconian in India, auction, people from all parts of the world went to help. And it will also be surprising to know that, people will know that, almost in 40 different countries, the senior politicians are Indians. In USA, the range of people who are heading topmost companies are Indians. The people advisory to the prime minister, to the president is Indian. And the vice president itself is Indian origin. So it is something which we all should be proud of. We all should ensure that this is enhanced. We all should ensure that, we understand, there could always be certain things. If you do not take due action, it may not, this is my own book. I have recommended 2 to 3 million Indians should grow abroad everywhere because we are there to serve the world. We are a knowledge people. So in all this thing, there is one doctrine of mine, which is called secure governance, which plays a huge role. It is a self-sustained growth of economy. Why I'm just bringing the small slide is because Indians, when they contribute back to India, they can use this principle to see, this is an open-ended principle, there's nothing to do with me as such, although it's my thing, in which there could be self-sustained generation of funds. It's a very involved topic. I'm not going to the depth. I'm just saying these type of things are available for somebody to ensure that whatever they give back, it stays with them, it stays for growth, it stays for development. And Indians of various ages can have various types of participation. I'll quickly, come to the end of this thing. Yes. Now, this is the most important slide for of all the slides. This gives the nature of today's event. We have one ambassador, Manju Seth. She has been an ambassador to various states, and she herself is an author of repute. And she has got so many things in terms of her experience, in terms of her knowledge, in terms of the way she has handled in various assignments in India, as well as belonging to Minister of External Affairs. Obviously, she was connected to the overseas Indians. She will give the introductory keynote address. And then we have 6 people from 6 countries and in various time zones. Today's time zone of somebody is around 9 o'clock, somebody is around 5 o'clock, somebody is around 6 o'clock, and so on and so forth. We have persons from Japan, Mr. Harinarayan. He has been in Japan for last almost 23 years, and he has headed many companies there, and he has worked tirelessly, having so many associations of Indo-Japanese cadre. And I would like all of you to talk more, so I would only give a small gist of their work. And then we have Professor Uppiliappan Gopalan. He is somebody who is in multiple countries. Coincidentally, today he is in Fiji, but he is in Africa, he is in Europe, he is an advisory board of World Economic Forum, and he is in Harvard. You name a top organization, they have invited him to be to work and do assistant. And then we have Ganesh Doharka from Australia. He has been in various companies, right from IBM to HCL to Infotech to Oracle. And he is also there for more than 20 years. And he's an engineer from India and who has done exceptionally good work in Australia. And we have Dr.P.Pitchay. He is somebody, even though you cannot even believe, he's born and brought up in Malaysia. And he seems to be more Indian than all of us. Okay. Because of being born there, we may feel that because all others were born in India. He's somebody who is born there, and also he proudly says, I'm 64. And still he loves India. And does extremely great work in terms of, again, association. He himself is a lawyer, come business management and business magnate. He's bringing many things between the two. So I told him, please feel free to see in what way people can grow, what way the business between the 2 countries can get expanded. And many of those things he will cover. Then we have Arun Nelian. He is somebody who is in Singapore, and he has done some unique work. He himself is a budding unicorn, and he's doing a lot of work on highest technology sites. He is also tied up with some entities in Germany and so many things on global front. So which also I'm sure he will give an idea. And we have last Suresh Bansal. Suresh Bansal is from Mongolia. He is also the chairman of Indo-Mongolian Business Council. He was introduced to me coincidentally by Indian ambassadors to Mongolia, saying that this is a person who is doing exceptionally good work. He has got a range of hotels, with an Indian name. I'm sure he will tell. I'm skipping my mind. And he's in Mongolia for last, again, more than 20 years and well settled in Mongolia. But again, a heart of an Indian. So with this small brief background, let me welcome Ambassador Manju Seth to give her keynote talk before others have a talk. And all of us can talk for 10 minutes so that we don't run short of time. And let it not be too short also. We welcome anything plus minus, so that everybody has got a chance to say, because they are from multiple countries and multiple locations, so that people would like to hear all from their point of view. Ambassador. We can't hear you, madam.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute.
Yeah, we can hear.
Namaskar to all of you. It's such a pleasure and honor to be here amongst such eminent personalities, panelists, and of course, Dr.P.Sekhar and everybody else here. I mean, when I heard the introductions and I also read on the program, I think these are our amongst our most eminent Indians abroad. And just a little bit of, I'm sure all of you are aware of this, but I just wanted to say a little bit about how, Indian foreign policy on the diaspora has evolved. Just a brief thing, and the kinds of diaspora. Diaspora itself is an evolving concept, and you have the old diaspora and the new diaspora. So and the NRIs, so and the PIOs. So we have these various categories amongst the diaspora, and India is looking to leverage all these different categories of diaspora. As you just mentioned, I'm forgetting the name, but I think Dr.P.Pitchay from Malaysia, you said he was born there. So he's Indian origin, born and brought up abroad and in that particular country. So he is maybe second generation, maybe even third generation. So you have the old diaspora and the new diaspora, the younger lot of professionals, of IIT migrants, or of IIMs and young entrepreneurs going abroad. So you have this new, and of course, skilled, semi-skilled, different countries. And you have these, large categories of diaspora who are contributing immensely to the host country and also to the country of origin. But the ones who have been living in those in countries for second, 2 generations, 3 generations, 4 generations, they've all had a different history of migration. As you are well aware, in Southeast Asia, especially, it was the Kalinga Empire, which was set up, which had trading links 2,000 years ago. And so there are many, and there were other traders, Gujarati traders, other traders who went to Africa, who went to the Southeast, and who, sort of set up roots there. And also during colonial times, the French and the British took Indian indentured labor to different parts of the world. And those indentured labor, some of them, many of them, not only some, many of them stayed back, and their children and grandchildren, the 3rd, 4th generation now, have a connect with India still. And that is something which is very nice, but the current generation doesn't seem to have such a connect. And they're very talented, and some of them are doing extremely well, but that connect is there, but not there. So we need to, and also not only in Southeast Asia, but also if you look in the US and UK, 2nd, 3rd generation Indians are, yes, they're Indian at heart, they follow Indian customs, culturally they are still connected, but they wish to maintain some kind of distance, because somehow they feel that while India is growing and that's created a very good image, they still feel, what is in it for us? Or there is no facilitating. Many of them want to come to India and do something, but there's nothing to facilitate when they come to India. And that is one thing which I've seen in different countries, where they say, we want to come, but tell us what to do. There's another category of people, Indian origin business persons who went as traders and are now big businesses, have set up big businesses in the countries abroad, like in Thailand. When I was there in Thailand, they're doing extremely well. They went just before partition, and they're well settled there, and again 2, 3 generations, and they're doing extremely well. They are, in various businesses, but and they want to invest in India, but they are saying, how do we do it? What do we do? So that requires some kind of hand-holding and some more facilitation. Of course, I'm very happy to see that the government of India has put in place a lot of new initiatives, including Invest India, and even especially for the diaspora, we have put in a lot of facilities. But little more, I think, needs to be done if we want to realize this dream which we have, and also what is the main subject today, unleashing India's global diaspora. So and enhancing their engagement, their investment into India, with India. So the various and what is our foreign policy initiatives that we take on this? One is, of course, to engage the diaspora at all levels. We have youth engagement, we have different levels, the government and the Ministry of External Affairs and the diplomats abroad, when we are posted abroad. We are interacting with all of them, not only for cultural or soft power initiatives, but also for business, investment, innovations, etc., and all across the globe. But as I mentioned, there is still some hesitation on the part of the global Indian diaspora to come wholeheartedly and invest in India and to set up businesses in India. Of course, there are exceptions. I'm not saying that. And where they have managed to find a good Indian partner and they have gone, full steam ahead. But at the same time, there were many, what should I say, failed stories where they said that we've come to India and we got a partner and he said he would do everything, or he or she said he would do everything, and then nothing happened and whatever investment went down the drain. So that is the other thing. And then by word of mouth, the word spreads, no, don't go to India, you lose your money. So, and then another case of investing into property or investing in the special economic zones and other places where they said that how do we, without being physically present in India, not everybody, they have got their businesses abroad. They can't come here for very long periods of time. So these are just practical aspects. And so they would say, how do we ensure that the investment we have made is really utilized for the purpose that it is meant for, and for the purpose that, and the outcome, whether the outcome has been achieved or not. So these were some of the stories that I would hear from, various Indian diaspora when they were abroad. Even now, sometimes they get in touch and say, can you help on this and help on that? We put them in touch with the chambers sometimes, or with other people who are more active in this sphere. But these things remain, these challenges remain. And India's foreign policy, of course, has one major element that it is based on the domestic interest as well. Whenever we make a foreign policy decision, it is based on India's domestic challenges and imperatives. So we need to keep that in mind, when we are encouraging, or we are interacting with the diaspora abroad, and we are encouraging them to come to India. One of the things in the back of our mind is, how will it be? How can we leverage this for our domestic purposes as well? Of course, I'm not saying that diaspora should not, they're already contributing to their host countries in a big way, and which is appreciated across the world. Every country you go to, I think a few exceptions here and there may be some resentment, but by and large, the Indian diaspora is welcomed, and they feel, and the locals there, the local governments, the local people feel very positive towards them, and they want them to stay on and to increase their investments, and as they create a lot of employment locally as well. So this is a very positive thing that the Indian diaspora has established across the world, and which also sort of feeds in to enhancing bilateral relations between India and that particular country, the host country of the diaspora, where our diaspora are present. And as you mentioned, they're present, they're about 32 million, and they're spread across the world in every corner. I went to the small place called Lourdes in France. It's a place of pilgrimage. And there I found Indian restaurants. I said, how long have you been here? They said, for 30 years. I said, oh, I didn't know that. So it's very enterprising, and they're very, very popular. So you had this small place in France where you have a huge, not huge, quite a fairly large Indian origin population permanently staying there, and they have these Indian restaurants, and they have huge number of Indian pilgrims going there every year. And so we had a whole line. When we had gone there was a huge, line of people from India who had come for this sort of pilgrimage to Lourdes. So it was a very nice experience that I found that Indians they're very enterprising, present everywhere across the world. And now, if you look at and in Southeast Asia, of course, in Thailand, in Singapore, in Malaysia, Indonesia, in Japan too. Japan, interestingly, just as by the way that I just remembered something about Japan. I've never been there. But there are a number of documentaries which I have seen which are made on India, on Japan, with the India connection, where all many of their temples, they have regular Sanskrit chanting in all their regular, daily prayers. And they have sort of the Japanese versions of all our deities, many of our deities, Saraswati and, Lakshmi and others. So it is a very interesting thing that, how Indians and Indian culture permeate large parts of Southeast Asia and influence. Of course, in Thailand has apparently the only Brahma temple, I believe, because I was told that the one Brahma temple is in Pushkar, and that used to be, we were told it is the only Brahma temple, but I found there's a Brahma temple also in Thailand. So it is interesting how India and Indian diaspora have taken their cultural and their cultural movings and their cultural and their cuisine across the world. Then when we talk of post-COVID, COVID has given so many challenges to everybody. It has presented new challenges for India, for the global world. And as you know, during the COVID crisis, when it was ongoing, India did come up with, we've always had this concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, but where the world is one family. But at the same time, we had partnered with different, including diaspora in different countries, to make available the vaccines or other medical equipment and medical medicines in different countries across the world. And so many of our diaspora had partnered with India, with Indian companies to help in this initiative of helping COVID, helping countries to deal with the COVID fallout of the COVID. Then another thing that I'd like to just mention briefly is, there's a lot of innovation going on in India and abroad. And I find that, for instance, in Asia, it is across the board. Of course, in the US, in the UK, we have, and in other European countries, we have a lot of high-tech, latest innovations going on. But in Southeast Asia too, we do have a lot of innovation going on. And I think in India as well. So we need to marry these two together. It would be a very, very win-win situation for both sides if we could connect the innovators abroad with the innovators in India. And many of our institutions have set up these the incubators for innovation and startups. And so I think we need to leverage our Indian diaspora professionals, scientists, so that they continue what they're doing there, but they also, because I think there's many of them do have the flexibility to work in more than one place. And under the PPP model, we could, when I say PPP in this context, I mean that it would have to be maybe funded by the government partly and partly by the private sector, because these incubators, innovative incubators that are being worked on or that are available, always have a funding problem. From what I know and from what I hear, like, the Amity University, I was talking to them some time back. It's a private institution and they have a lot of innovation going on already. But again, funding issues sometimes. So the government can step in to help these to facilitate and to provide the right environment for these innovations to take place and to take flight and be used for the benefit in both the host and the home country. So both in India and the particular country that it is happening. So this is another area which I feel, because in a lot of in nanotechnology, and I don't know if you may have seen this innovation that has been done in Bangalore, where they have set up a water kind of dispenser using air from the water vapor from the atmosphere. Using that. So because India does have this, or Indians do have this, frugal engineering approach, as well as trying to find innovative solutions, and they are doing it in every country also. I was reading about some real high-tech niche areas of innovation that are going on in different countries, especially, of course, in the US and in Europe. So we need to, in Southeast Asia also, South Asia as well, there is a lot of work going on. Somebody was mentioning to me, in Singapore has a lot of these innovative hubs, and Japan, of course. So whether we can have these to put together, to connect them together and encourage a kind of situation where it is beneficial for both sides, because that is very important, and some funding could be provided. And lastly, I will just mention that, India has been following an Act East policy for a long time, and which is, so it is time now to, further give a boost to our policies in this area as well, where we leverage our diaspora as well and have them invest in India, set up entrepreneurship, enterprises in India, and to help with the innovation, research, and new technology areas. So I will conclude with that, and I hope that this initiative of yours will throw up new ideas and come up with really in original ways of taking this forward, and also how what are the challenges that are there, and what are the lacuna that all the big companies abroad or our diaspora abroad face in India, so that these can be addressed in a holistic way. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you, madam. So nice to hear for some of the takeaways from an ambassador, so to say. It's an ex-ambassador, is that they are concerned. They are not one of those who are only bystanders. Many times people feel that oh, somebody in government means we have to really fight with them. They are fighting with you. They are just seeing that there are some common objectives, common system, which it's a legacy, which we cannot say that there's a solution, which has to be tackled. And they are working with you and inform whatever is there. At the same time, don't give up. At the same time, there are opportunities in a multiple dimension, and it is up to us to take what we have to take. So with that, let me invite my second speaker from, coincidentally, she also mentioned Japan. He's from Japan, Mr. Harinarayan, and I'm sure he has got a lot of things to, take it from whatever my Ambassador Manju has said. Mr. Harinarayan, please.
Thank you, sir. So nice of you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. M.R. Ranganathan, my guru, who sent me to Japan, for referring me to Dr. Sekhar sir. And I thank Dr. Sekhar sir and Akram for bringing me into this forum. It's a real honor, even though I doubt whether I'm fully qualified for this or not. But I will share my experience, whatever we do as a community, as well as whatever I have done personally for the past 23 years of my experience and living in Japan. And I also thank our ambassador and also fellow overseas friends for joining this forum. Actually, I came to Japan as an engineer, bridge engineer we call those days, because some team will be working in India and some only very few. We used to call 2080 model. 20% of the team will be in on-site, and remaining, it's like a bundled, proposal. The customer will be benefited so that we don't charge them anything on-site. Only we will charge the offshore rate with very limited people on-site. Those were the penetrations we did, early stages, 25 years back. And at that time when I came, there were only 150, 200 Indians, and very, very few countable Indian restaurants. Life was not very easy, being Japan, language issue, food issue, mainly for vegetarians. Having said that, if I look at now, we have grown leaps and bounds thanks to our Indian diaspora. Definitely, our government has walked extra miles by breaking a lot of difficult things, and definitely Japan is one country who they are really have a liking for Indians. And our culture, and lot of match between our culture, mainly South Indians and Japanese. We have a lot of similarities. And what we are trying to do, we understood in the initial stages, many people come here, but we could not, retain the talent pool, because they think Japan is very tough. Language issue is there, and so that real talent go back to Australia or UK or US. So this challenge, we are not able to address it, and so we are not able to build we could not grow as fast as other countries were growing in terms of Indian diaspora. Then we thought, okay, we should build a bilingual pool. We mean as a company as well as a community. So we were, trying to educate our younger population. From the schooling, we are trying to explain them. Japan is an aging population. This is a wonderful infrastructure, very safe country, one of the best. All 4 seasons you can, even as a nature, it's blessed. So we always try to educate our younger population that please learn Japanese from when you finish schooling, so that even for college you can come here. There are good colleges with very good financial support as well. So we try to encourage. Initial stages it was not very encouraging, even though we tried our best. But nowadays really we are very happy that thousands and thousands of students are able to learn, and then they are already here in Japan for college, higher education, as well as today if you see the population, we have come from 300 to 35,000, 40,000. Today we are around 40,000 Indians, which is a very good number. And from now it will be much more, the growth will be much more faster, and it will go to lakhs because of the current government's initiative. And also every state is opening up, and we are opening student exchange program, faculty exchange program. We have tied up with many universities, and we are trying to take them to India. Agriculture, whatever enhancements, we are trying to bring that latest agricultural thing to India. And last year we brought around 40 agricultural experts from India, where they visited here for 2 weeks. They exchanged everything. So like that, every area, every domain, we as a community, we have two communities. I represent, I'm the founder and president of Tokyo Tamil Sangam, which we formed 15 years back to support our South Indian community to stay back in Japan to address their language issues, whether their children are getting health issues, to go and support them in the hospital. We formed a core team, and we started celebrating Pongal, Tamil New Year, Deepavali, Dasara. So different to make the community closer and stronger. And we also created Japanese online forums where they can learn the language to have a daily living. Like that, we supported each other, and now the community is very strong. Not only South Indian community, we have formed all Japan associations of Indians, where every state representatives will be there, and we are addressing as a community overall as Indians together, even though everybody has their own state related community as well. And we have also formed a database of bilingual engineers. One immediately, if somebody is losing their job, we try to, between us, we try to communicate and then try to support them not to lose the talent pool. Like that, we are all a very well-knit community. And having said that, this last 1 year, as doctor said, COVID has a lot of bad things, but let's talk about the positives COVID has brought in. Post-COVID, we realized we could not do no more physical functions. So last year, April, we thought of starting online programs through Tokyo Tamil Sangam Facebook page, and we created a Tokyo Tamil TV channel, YouTube channel. And we did hundreds and hundreds of programs, and we connected all over the world, all the Tokyo, all the Tamil Sangams. Around 40 Tamil Sangams came together. We created a WhatsApp group of all the presidents and vice presidents, and everybody came together, and they accepted Tokyo Tamil Sangam as the driver, and then we initiated the program called Entertainment for a Cause. And we did hundreds of programs, live music, live Zoom events, interviews with celebrities, interviews with Tamil scholars. And we focused on South India, and we did close to 1 crore rupees. We did different charity events, and whether it is making people who are not able to continue their education after 12th, we identified the poor children along with Radio Mirchi, the program called Mirchi Mudal Padi, and we made thousands and thousands of people continue their education. And also we supported thousands of musicians who don't have any programs and difficult for their living. We supported them. We supported Assistant Director Union, and we supported along with Rotary Club of Chennai North. We supported a program for rural girls who don't go to schools because of the 3-day issues where they could not even afford a sanitary napkin. So we supported them for 1 year of sanitary pads and different programs we got into, and all the 40 Tamil Sangams contributed. We joined together and we could make a real big contribution, which made everyone happy. Not only our community back in Tamil Nadu, but also our overseas Indians. We were really proud that we could join together and do this. Thanks to COVID, it united, and now the Tamil Sangams are a bigger umbrella for a better and bigger cause. And we are continuing that even today. And even though the number hundreds have gone down, the lives number of lives have gone down, but we are still continuing weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, like that. We are continuing our important programs and continuing our good cause, whatever we tried. So having said that, I leave it to, I can continue talking, but I leave it to others to share their views. And if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to address. And I once again thank Dr. Sekhar sir, who is a legend and by himself. Thanks for, inviting me and being part of this forum, and our Tokyo Tamil Sangam's communities support, and any time will be there for you, sir. And in future, whatever way possible, we will be of use to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a small question for you. Somebody said during my last Japanese program that even Japanese language is originated from some Indian scripts. Is it correct? Just a small question before I go to the next speaker.
Actually, it's not 100%, but there are some scripts which has come from Indian this thing. But actually, if you say the grammar is literally similar to Tamil.
Okay.
Tamil language.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So nice to see. After 23 years, you are looking more Indian. You are talking more Indian. You are fully into a different structure. So nice to see that you spend good time. And thanks to Mr. Raghunathan who recommended that you should somehow come into that. Thank you, sir. Now let me call our second eminent speaker, Dr. Pitchay. He is from Malaysia, and he is somebody who's having a huge things to tell. I hope he can tell much in 10 minutes or maximum 12 minutes. Dr. Pitchay, please.
A very good evening to all of you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see you and hear you.
Okay. Let me just introduce myself. And before that, I would like to the chair and speaker, Dr. P.Sekhar, chairman, for giving me an opportunity to participate in this evening. And it is a great pleasure to know you and the rest of things. And our guest of honor, Madam Manju, and Dr. Uppalani Gopalan, and Mr. S.K. Bansal, Mr. G. Narayanan, Mr. Ganesh Lukra, Sarun Nilayan, and Mr. Harum, our host, and all the panel discussions for today. And it's a great pleasure to meet all of you from Malaysia. And let me introduce myself to you. I am by profession a legal consultant for corporate companies. And I'm also a degree holder in a Doctor of Business Administration, which I took to focus more on business plannings and so on. And with that, I've initiated an Indian-Malaysian Global Commerce Federation group. And the objective of this group is to unite and connect all the Indian business people and give them an opportunity on the economical growth. Because we have a lot of small, medium business people, and they do not know to whom they can supply their goods to. And I'm working out in Malaysia with a big base to import all the products from there. And we have about 3.2 million Indians residing in Malaysia. And out of these 3.2 million, we got about nearly 2 million youngsters, the youngs, and seniors about 1 point something. And we have completely all the cultures that we observe in India, we are observing in Malaysia too. And the government is giving us full cooperation. We got nearly about 25,000 over temples built up in this country. And all festivals, because of the pandemic, we have restricted to go to temples and so on. Otherwise, we are open field in all things. And India is, in fact, in the minds of everyone, because we can trade India with India and be Indian and buy Indian. That's the concept we also follow, because as Indian, we have a lot of loyalty, love, and faith for our country. Even though I'm the second generation born in Malaysia, and my father was from India, Ramnath, and we have been here for the last years, and all my children are doing very well in Malaysia. And that proves that the country is really helping us. But small minority cases, we just don't talk about it. And furthermore, what I feel is Indian diaspora, as what Madam Manju said, is all around the world. And you have a very good platform to bring them together. And hopefully we will all even join with you to work out some plans where we can get connected to them and frequently bring them into a picture where we can coordinate and communicate with them. Because via communication, we can do a lot of things. Like today, I'm very, very amazed and happy to see so many leaders, Indian origins, who are residing in Australia, who are residing in Mongolia, who are residing in from various other parts of the world. So this proves that we are very happy to meet all together. And what I feel is there are a lot of relationship can be built between us. And Mr. Dr.Sekhar is doing a wonderful job. And we can work together. And in fact, on educational, I'm also planning to set up an educational unit to bring in more expatriates from India to Malaysia to do up trainings on certain projects and so on. So it will take some time because of the COVID problem. Otherwise, I would have been in India a long time, and at least for a 6-month study tour to study more details, how we can work together and so on. Coming back again to our Indian people in Malaysia, I'm from Penang Island, which is about 500 kilometers from Singapore. And Thailand is about 100 kilometers from my place. So we are all just close up and so on. And if we talk about the connections, I hope my federation, Indian Malaysian Global Commerce Federation, will do very well, because so far we already got about 80 or 60 people involved in the group, and gradually we are putting in more, and we want to give them more economical growth. And as you know, that the pandemic has killed all of us, basically killed all the business people, hoteliers, and so many people are suffering. And we can't avoid it because it's the nature. And only God can help us. God can guide us from all this pandemic. And with that, I think it's a good chance for me to talk here. And I pass it back to you, Mr. Sekhar, Dr. Sekhar.
Thank you, Dr. Pitchay. So nice to hear.
Question, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you. We heard you fully. And then again, we'll have one more round little later.
Okay.
It was nice to hear that, you being a second generation in other country, Malaysia, still the longing to work together is there. Yes, you all should be happy wherever you are. We are all not wanting to intermigrate again. But whatever the best can be brought, and like you said, whatever way we can help, assist, and make people expand their various commercial activities, business activities, knowledge-based activities, educational activities, we should work together, because there's a full world looking for growth, looking for items from us, looking for technologies from us, looking for spiritual help from us, looking for, right from Ayurveda to yoga, you name it, there is something which India can give and which Indians can provide to the world. So let me now thank Dr. Pitchay.
One more thing, Doctor. In 20 years' time, India will be the world's, I think, the best nation in the world. Everybody, and Malaysians will come and work in India. Not Indians will come and work in Malaysia, because India's high technology, and it's a matter of time, because a lack of unity. Unity is the main reason. Even in Malaysia, very, very hard to unite these people together, because all have different perceptions and different views and different opinions, and they don't get together. But a day will come, they will realize the importance of being united together. As we say, united we stand, divided we fall.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the great thing is that people like you should work more harder for the community and for the nation and for the country. Thank you, Doctor. And thank you, other panel speakers, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Okay. Now coming to our next speaker, Professor Uppili Gopalan. As I said, he is somebody in multiple countries. He is in Fiji today. In Fiji, it is still very late, maybe around 9 o'clock or so. Professor Uppili?
Yes. Am
You're
I
there?
audible,
Yeah.
Dr. Sekhar?
Yeah, we are audible. So just so now that I introduced you, please, mic is yours. Talk a little about yourself, your achievement, your multifarious, organizations where you are doing some good work, and what is the way forward? What is the way forward for growth? Way forward for achieving something for the global benefit. Just a small statement before I sing. Professor Dr. Pitchay said even Malaysians may come to India. We feel that when Indians are there, that is India. Okay, we are not like Britishers who feel we are ruling any other country. We work in any other country. They become part of India and we become part of them. So that philosophy means we grow on a very different mindset and different platform. That is what is India's culture. We do not feel only if we are in India, we are Indians. We feel that I may be sitting in the most hostile different country and still I could be the country and work for that country and work for it. And you are a live example. You have been in so many countries and still you are so much more. Professor Uppili.
Thank you, Dr. Sekhar. Thank you, Manju Madam, and thank you all the speakers. This is a fantastic opportunity which Dr. Sekhar has given in terms of demystifying the role of NRIs in the Indian economy, economic development. It's a very vast subject. Let me introduce about myself. I am Dr. Uppiliappan Gopalan, hailing from a small village in the southern part of India called Kumbakonam. Belong to Uppiliappan temple, a place called Tirunakeswaram, and finished my schooling in one of the best schools in India, which is called as Lawrence, which is located in Loudale, Ooty, which is known to be the best hill station in southern part of India. It's called as the Queen of Hills. Then finished my graduation from Indian Institute of Technology, Chennai, did my chemical engineering. And then after that, I did my postgraduate diploma in management from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, with finances and operations as my mainstream. And I finished my doctorate in supply chain and finance integration from Indian School of Business. And I also have my second executive MBA from London School of Economics. So that is about the academic profile of mine. And after finishing my IIM, I joined Murugappa Group, which is one of the, I would say, the top-notch group of southern part of India, which is a diversified conglomerate with an annual turnover of around $4 billion, which has got almost 20 diversified forward and backward integrated business, leveraging on the supply chain. Then with the aspiration of going abroad, after 4 years of my stint with Murugappa Group, I've been living abroad. The last 15, 16 years, I must say, I've been living abroad. So the first abroad opportunity was with Dubai Holdings, and then with Mercedes-Benz in Stuttgart, in Germany. And then from Germany, I came down to Oman as part of the Mercedes assignment, handling Oman, Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, and Morocco, almost all the Levant countries. From there, I went to Nairobi, handling the whole, the Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Mali, what it was called as British Protesto of East Africa, handling the whole of East Africa and part of Central Africa. And then from there, I went to Mauritius. From Mauritius, again, I came down to, because gravity is the mother of invention. Okay, all my learnings have been extramural outside the walls. When you cross continents, came back to Dubai, started working for Bate Brothers, which is one of the largest retail conglomerate, as their group CEO. And post that, I'm also affiliated and associated as an adjunct faculty with Indian Institutes of Management, both Bangalore as well as Kolkata. I take finance and strategic finance. And in London Business School, I take strategic finance for emerging economy. And I'm also an enrolled distinguished professor of Great Lakes Institute of Management. And I'm a member panelist in the World Economic Forum. And apart from that, I'm also there as a sitting product forum director for SAP Middle East and Africa. So that is about basically my experience, my affiliation, and my I would say the cross-cultural acclimatization. Having said, worked for more than 7 countries, interacted with more than almost 40 nationalities. Wherever I went, what I could see as a signature is, even before I am there, I could see my diaspora there, making an integral base of the economy of that particular country wherever I went. Okay. You talk about UAE as a country, 80% of the population of UAE is basically dominated by the expat community, and out of that 80% is Indians, and out of that 80% is Malus. Okay, so had Malus not been there, the whole of GCC would have come to a standstill. Okay, when Madam Manju was talking that it's very interesting to see the diaspora of India all over the globe. This reminds me the joke. Even when the astronauts landed in the moon, the first tea shop which was put by the Nair to be able to serve the tea for Neil Armstrong when he landed in the moon. Okay, that's how the Indian community has been in terms of making themselves very progressive, in terms of making them extremely adaptable. Okay, that is the right word I would say. Okay. The compatibility probably is very less in India because of inclusively exclusive principle or exclusively inclusive principle. I don't know what side of the coin that they will get into. But when they go out of India, you could see a lot of solidarity. There is a lot of unity. They speak one language. They speak one. They stand as an embodiment of one culture. Okay, for example, the place where I am in now, Fiji. Okay, the endangered laborers came as a part of the Girmit system before 150 years. And now, if you look at it, they stand by the culture of India. Okay, what is standing as a commonality in all of them? Almost 38% of the population of Fiji, they call themselves as Fiji Indians. They stand by the language. They speak Fiji Hindi. And if you go across, every house has got the Hanuman Mandir. Okay, temples are not on every street. Temples are there, built on every house. Okay, you could see the flags that is flying on the top of every house, which means that they have not left their religious culture. They have not left basically the so-called the culture. You go to the Nandi temple, you have Thaipusam that is celebrated with the firework. Okay, you go to the interior of Ba, you have Terukuthu. Okay, in fact, Terukuthu is a concept that is gone by even in the Tamil villages. Okay, now the erstwhile government and the current government has been trying to bring that in place in terms of bringing impetus. It is not the culture that has made it is not the economy that has made the culture. It is the culture that has rebound the economy of any country. Okay, likewise, the diaspora of India, scattered all across the globe, has put in the basic principles and edifices not only of India, but also making Indians kind of global citizen. Okay, that is one part of it. And the role of NRIs, if you look at it in terms of the GDP development, or in terms of the foreign direct investment, or in terms of the remittances, if you look at it, we're talking about around $80 billion. That is the remittance that is done by the Indian diaspora into India. Okay, and out of that, 23% of the foreign reserve that the India carries is purely coming from the remittances that is done by the Indian diaspora. And you talk about the foreign direct investment. Okay, you're talking about around $80 billion year on year, and it is growing up to $120 billion in the next 3 years' time down the line, which is going to be an integral framework of the economic reforms of India. Okay. This $120 billion that you're talking about in 3 years' time, and the $80 billion that you're talking now, if you look at it, 80% of the foreign direct investment is influenced by the NRIs. Okay. You go to the country, my country is progressive. My country is having this kind of, the trade-friendly channels. Okay, the balance of trade is very conducive. Doing ease of doing business, what you call in Make in India concept, EODB, is by and large conducive. So come to India, invest in India. Because of the competencies that is available, because of the skill sets that is available, because of the capability in every trade that we're talking about. It has become the global hub of automotive. It has become the global hub of outsourcing. It has become the global hub of accounting practices. The world's best chartered accountants are from India. The world's best investment managers are from India. Top 10 investment banking organizations across the globe. Out of that, 80% of the top-notch CEO of the investment banking community, they are Indians. Okay, and in that 80%, almost 90% of them are chartered accountants. Okay, Indian chartered accountants and the Indian doctors are the most valued citizens in the respective countries that they go and work. Because of two things. One is they know the jugaad, as well as they know the jugglery. Okay, jokes apart. So you're talking about FDI that I've spoken. You're talking about the contribution of the NRIs into the India as part of the remittances. Every sector that India has contributed, being an outsourcing hub for the globe. And I don't have to talk about the top 10 global CEOs. You talk about Satya Nadella, you talk about Sundar Pichai, you talk about anybody for that matter. Okay. They're all basically, and why to go to that extent, Kamala Harris. Okay. So imprints that they have designed, developed, and put in place in the respective countries they started working is immense. So Indian contribution in growing their economy and establishing the poised economic growth for India stays to be intact by two ways. One is they connect the network across the globe. I worked in Europe. I worked in the Middle East part of the GCC, and I worked in India. So when I worked in Europe, I know what are all the components that are to be sourced from Middle East through India, or what are all the components that can be sourced from India through Middle East as a trading channel. So through this, what has happened is,
for their appeal, because investment is done by the.
I not only fostered the GDP indicators of the respective country that I worked upon, but also augmented the economic indicators, indirectly increasing the GDP and the balance of trade in India. Okay, because export plays a very, very important role in India to be able to stabilize the balance of trade and thereby GDP and thereby the other global economic indicators. And eventually enhancing the so-called the forex stabilization practices through the means of export, because US dollar is very much needed for the Indian growth. So the role of NRIs in India is inevitable. Our Prime Minister has been talking, he has been sending invitation for bringing back the 30 million Indians that are working abroad. But it is my request to the policymakers in India to foster better policies in terms of sending more Indians abroad. Indians going abroad, they not only contribute to the growth of the respective countries that they work, but also indirectly bring in a lot of value additions and synergies back home. be it remittances, be it foreign direct investment, be it balance of trade, be it GDP, be it forex, and for that matter, the overall economic spheres of development. Okay, today Detroit of the South, Detroit of the East, Chennai has been orchestrated, Chennai has been decorated. Why Daimler came to India, that itself is a case study. Okay, it's because of one man called Bharat Balasubramaniam, who was still the R&D director of Daimler AG, Germany. He said, let's start having the assembly plant in Pune. That will not only be a center of excellence, but also it will act as a catalyst for the neighboring countries to be able to export the Mercedes cars. While car is one segment, commercial vehicle is other segment. Staying in India, we can look at Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Burma, Bhutan, Tibet, and almost all the SAARC countries as the center of focus to be able to serve the commercial vehicle to the export market, to deliver quality, to bring in the world-class infrastructure, thereby creating employability. So one Indian can create a trigger of bringing an investment of close to $2 billion into India. Likewise, how many Indians have influenced the kind of foreign direct investment that has happened in India directly, indirectly, organically, inorganically, radically, erratically, logically, illogically? Okay, that's why I said I don't know the Indian race, whether they sit on the pedestal of explicitly implicit or implicitly explicit, or exclusively inclusive or inclusively exclusive. Okay, but it is a great pride of honor to be an Indian and working in abroad, contributing towards the growth of that particular country, besides contributing greatly to the nation that we belong. Okay, so we have a larger responsibility, we have a larger footprint, and going forward, I think with the conducive policies that are coming in place, we will have a larger role in the spectrum to be able to develop India's economic growth. Thank you, Dr. Sekhar. Thank you, the panelist.
Thank you, Professor Gopal. So nice. One thing he said, which is a take home, is that instead of calling people back, let us send more people abroad, but on the need base. It should not be thrusting anything. It should be something where the person going there also enjoys that he's going to the right place, and both countries benefit, and see that the world becomes a better place, which is an excellent phenomenon. In my own book, I have said almost 2 to 3 million Indians should go abroad every year. For different reasons, I put logical book. It's a very detailed one. So it is something which will be good for both, good for the country and good for the country of origin, country of destination. Now let me invite Mr. Ganesh. Ganesh is from Australia. He is there for last more than 20 years. He's an engineer from India and has worked in various large corporates. And he's basically a technical person and brought a lot of things in the sales, marketing, technology, and somebody who just put his heart out for his own growth, his company's growth, and India's growth, and Australia's growth. Ganesh. Please, you're mute, unmute. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Sekhar, and namaste to all of you. Thank you, Mrs. Sept, to introducing and restarting the things with namaste, because that is the new way of handshaking in global world because of COVID. So we have come back to the basics, which India started as namaste in the Western world. And I have seen many of the people in the formal introduction are doing namaste nowadays rather than shaking the hands. So with that, let me introduce myself. As Dr. Sekhar said, I'm a Bachelor of Engineering from Mumbai University. That is where Dr. Sekhar was my project guide as a student long back. Then I've done my Masters of Marketing Management from NMIMS Mumbai. Have worked in India for around 10 years with various organizations. The last organization was HCL back in India. They transferred me to start the operations of HCL Infosystems in Australia in year 2000. And that was my journey to Australia. If I go back 20 years, the day when we started, the Indian IT services companies were having a marginal market share or no market share at all. It was a startup operations, it was a struggle. And if I look back today, out of top 5 services company in Australia, IT services company in Australia, more than 50% are dominated by Indian origin. I'm talking about top 5 local revenue of IT services company, more than 50% are Indian origin. I'll not get into the specifics because it's public information. You can definitely refer it to that. Now, coming to Australia, I have experience of starting a new operation, manage the businesses, manage the operations, client relationship, business development, establish the new market, establish the new product offering, services, etc., etc. But overall, what I have seen is the respect for Indians in the Australian market. And one common theme, which is icebreaker, is the cricket. Australians love their cricket and Indians love their cricket. So it's a very good starting point for all of us. But jokes apart, year 2000 was a starting point when, as Hariji has said, in Japan, finding the vegetarian food or finding the Indian food was a struggle. But today, every restaurant have a dedicated menu for vegan or vegetarian things. Number of Indians in Australia have improved like anything. The local culture and the local society is celebrating Indian festival as if it's a part of their culture. In many of the large customers, including some of the leading banks, they have Diwali celebration as if it is celebrated by an Indian company in a big way. My apologies. I put it off, but I don't know. Okay. So that is the background and that is the way in which we have created the community. As a part of my ongoing journey, there are a lot of learnings which I've captured from the local society. For example, giving back to the community. During the school time of my kids, I've always been involved in the PNC, parent and community associations. I've worked in the various roles as a voluntary organization. There is a Food for Life program where we distribute the food for homeless people. I regularly volunteer there and contribute there. There are a number of temples which are available in Australia and we do go regularly. And today is one of the festival days. According to the Krishna followers, it's Radha Ashtami, it's appearance day of Mata Radharani. So it's a celebration and my family is actually having a celebration while I'm talking to you guys. But what I was trying to explain is there is an absolute great opportunity for Indians coming abroad, and what we bring our cultural values and basic ethics, which is well respected in local market. The amount of work what we are doing, especially in the IT services organization, right, contributing back to India. As I said, top 3 out of top 5 IT services company are from Indian origin in Australia. That gives a huge opportunity for people back in India in terms of their employment prospects, as well as they are creating a lot of jobs locally. All of the major IT services company, which is the sector where I've spent most of my time, have huge collaboration of local employment, multicultural organization, which is a great value and which is a great asset I have seen over the period of time. The industry has evolved and the local community has evolved. And today we are seeing the connection within the Indian community is very high. We all have a great connections with back in India. We all travel regularly to India. We all follow rituals, etc., etc. But one thing which I can say proudly is, in spite of getting into the westernized culture, we still are able to maintain and sustain and transfer the values of Indian culture in the local society, and which is well respected by them. With that, I think I will request Dr. Sekhar if I have any specific questions or any.
Be there. Very nice, very nice. You put it nicely. As a professional, of course, you have your own inroads into various ways, especially as an IT professional. What you emphasized about the way Indian entrepreneurs have done a great job in Australia as an example. And of course, your joke of cricket is very well taken, because we always say as a joke or as a reality, you can have a cricket match or any Indian movie release in any part of the world, it will be houseful. In any part of the world. You won't be Siberia. Okay. And Australia and others are this thing. Nowadays, even cricket is being played by Indians in USA. Because USA was minus cricket. Nowadays, there are, cricket being played in USA. So with that, let me go to next two speakers. The next two speakers wanted to speak in the end. They were not made to speak in the end. They were saying that, yes, we would like to speak in the end. So both are entrepreneurs. They are entrepreneurs. So they would like to listen to all and then make their final move. So here is Arun. He's a very high technology actual developer, hardcore engineer come technocrat come entrepreneur. Something interesting to hear from him as a person of Indian origin, going to Singapore and making his forays and then succeeding it so much so that he's collaborating even with some German companies and so many other foreign companies and making things go into different ways. Mr. Arun Nilliam.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Sekhar. Thank you.
We are not able to hear Arun. Arun, we are not able to hear.
Can you hear now?
Volume.
Can you hear now?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay. Good afternoon, Dr. Sekhar and panelists, Kumar and Bansal. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share my experience with our panelists here. And I'm basically, let me introduce myself. I'm basically a mechanical engineer and specialized with precision tool design, design category. And then I did my master's in business administration in one of the UK universities. So I came to Singapore 30 years ago as a young, not so young engineer. After 10 years, so at the age of 30, so I spent another 30 years in Singapore. If somebody asked me, I say, I know best of both worlds. Okay, so, and many times, the experience we gather in the outside India, sometimes very innovative. Although we have a lot of, great innovations in India, but the initiating this R&D kind of work has some priority for the outside world. For example, one of the statistics several years ago, every 33 seconds, one Indian died due to heart attack. I think this is 4 or 5 years back, statistics. But in Singapore, I happen to work with a team of experts developing the world first mobile phone, just ordinary 2G mobile phone, which is capable of recording the electrocardiogram. Because what happens when they got some chest pain or discomfort, when they rush to the hospital or the nearest clinic, the window time, golden window is only like less than 1 hour, many times getting collapsed. So noticing this, one of the Singapore doctor, a friend of mine, a very famous cardiologist, he has come out with a concept, putting his own pocket money, developed the world first ECG recording mobile phone. Today, of course, we have, after several years, we have this, the Apple Watch with the biosensors to record the heart rate. But it was done 10 years ago in Singapore. In the world map, Singapore is a dot, but it serves like a function, like a hub for the whole world. connecting, major economies. So it was very interesting for me to learn as an young engineer. When people come here, it has given me some opportunity to be, multicultural and multilingual professionals. So it is a different experience. But today, when we look at India, India is fantastic, I should say. And Indian professionals, there's so much of hardships. Some, even getting a right qualification or they desired education was very tough those days. But in spite of all this, today we go to any country. Say, I have traveled more than 30, 40 countries, but many places, Indian professionals at the key decision and for the leadership, corporate leadership, fantastic. They have remarkably done so well. But on the other hand, I would like to just highlight a small thing. For example, a country like Norway with 5.5 million population, very, very much equal to the Singapore population, is just one rank ahead of India in terms of number of Nobel Prizes. They produced, I think, 17 Nobel laureates, but we are next to them. So maybe in a year's time, after you see how to boost this, when we have 80 billion over remittances happening each year by the Indians abroad, can we not spend a little bit fraction of this to care for researchers? There are many people there, which come with the experience working in the garage or in the field, but practical knowledge. They can be, very resourceful in creating or igniting the minds of the researchers. What we need to do now to catch up. Okay, India is always jumping. For example, when the rest of the world with the mobile phone, India started with the pager. But in the very shortest span, immediately they went to smartphones. But today, the largest smartphone connectivity we have. Okay, so once we have the smartphone, we are not anymore staying abroad or India. We are inside India, but we live outside India. When the phone is on the hand, we are not there at home. We are well connected with the outside world. Okay, so that, of course, I like the way Professor Upliapan has mentioned about this Taipusam in Fiji Island and the Singapore, Malaysia. We have this Taipusam festival, very famous here. That has given the spiritual connectivity and the cultural connectivity with India as always. So, so we feel that we are still at the home. So Singapore is not that far. Okay, so it's a very good experience. I would love to hear from many of young engineers and professionals anywhere if they want to explore in Singapore or connected, get connected with our Indian community outside, where they can share their experiences to contribute to the economy in India. Because this 12, 18 months of this lockdown, it's like, it's like a Purana, it's like an old story. But we can always, capture this again with so many other innovations. And we can, we can bring out many new things for the rest of the world. Okay, so yeah, of course, now I'm working on some of the research projects and guiding some overseas research companies. So with that, I would like you to, take it to the next step. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. Okay, thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, Arun. He is an entrepreneur, hardcore entrepreneur, giving his thoughts on various aspects of India as a country, Indians as people, as a developer, and Indians as also developing good items, good products, good systems. Now, let me go to our sixth speaker, that is Surendra Kumar Bansal. Now, he has been in Mongolia for more than 20 years, and I would like him to share his great experience when he went, how he went, what happened, what is his thing. He's in hospitality industry, having his own brand, which is very popular in Mongolia. Of course, because of COVID, many things are affected. But let us share his views. And in the second round, I would like others to be mentally prepared. when it comes to next generation, I would like all of us to share what should be the way forward, what should be the thinking, what should be the continuity which should be mentioned. Because I know that Pitchay and Arun have got children in their 30s and the late 20s. And how would they look at those? And Ganesh has got somebody in 20s, that is his children. And so how would they look at it? Now, Mr. Bansal.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. Actually, it's evening time here. I don't know about the different time zones. And thank you very much, entire team of Policy Times, Mr. Akram, and all the team behind the curtain. Actually, it is interesting to hear viewpoints from different parts of the world, from fellow Indians and persons of Indian origin, and the achievements and the backgrounds we all come from. Actually, I would like to briefly cover my personal journey in Mongolia and a little bit about the Indo-Mongolian relations so far. I'm actually from hospitality background. I did my hotel management from Pusa Institute. And during the campus interviews, I got selected. In fact, I was surprised myself how came I got selected out of 100 over candidates. And I found the answer when I came here. So, because it was kind of predestined, because it was not only a job, it was predestined that I would marry to a local girl and will be blessed with 2 kids. And like I came in 2002, actually. And that time, Mongolia was a very, for me, actually, an unimaginable place, because it was so scarcely populated. You can see from the Google that it is still, the density is the lowest in the world. It's like 1.5 kilometer per person. So you can imagine the 18th largest country in the world, and with a population of just 3 over million people. But having said that, numbers are very low as compared to big countries like India, but the opportunities, they are, numerous opportunities, because this is still, I would call it a virgin market, because there are a lot of sectors which are unexplored, and a lot of opportunities for, especially like Professor said, like we Indians are very smart. We always, find our way through different ideas for new businesses, new startups. So Mongolia so far is not very competitive market for Indian. So far we are a little over than 300 people from India here, and I would say like not more than 20 people who have been here for more than 10 years. But the economy is like, it's a democratic country, so the economy is growing up. Is still, even during this pandemic, it's 6% plus growth of the economy is taking place, and all the big mining companies, because this country mainly the GDP contribution to the GDP is via mining, and of course agriculture sector, which includes animal husbandry. So like big companies, like including Rio Tinto, they are operating here, one of the largest copper and coal minings, gold. There are more than 86 plus minerals types available in Mongolia, including the rare earth metals, which is going to be the gold of future, because China is trying to get hold of all these rare earth metals. Engineers must be knowing better, where they are being used. And like myself, my journey was like, I started as an employee in another Indian restaurant, and then in 2009 we started our own family business here, because I got married to my wife, present wife. And from there, with God's grace and with the support of many people, I never looked back. And as of now, we are operating 4 locations, and we got the opportunity to serve our Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to Mongolia, our former that time President, I forgot her name, sorry, our president name, sorry, it was Pratibha Patilji, sorry, Pratibha Patilji. She was here, and of course our Lok Sabha Speaker, Sumitra Mahajanji. So all these dignitaries were here, and because it's a small place, so we were given the the privilege to serve them, to take care of their food and all those requirements. And from there, another also a Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia and the Prince of Qatar. These were the dignitaries that we got the opportunity to serve. And as of now, we are also running a small food factory here, Indian groceries. And because just like our first speaker mentioned, because I'm one of the oldest Indians living in Mongolia, so I had this responsibility that how can we become as a pathfinder for newcomers from India. So keeping that in my mind, we started Mongolia India Business Council in collaboration with Indian Embassy in Mongolia in 2016. And now, as some of you must be aware, that with the help of Indian government, Mongolia received $1.3 billion credit line for building their first refinery, and this project is in progress. And one of the company is already working, and the other second company for second phase is already bidding. So JMC Projects is already operating here, and we are looking forward to another big giants like L&T, Tata Projects, and Afcons and other companies coming for the refinery project, which will, I'm sure, which will bring a lot of opportunities for Indians and other Indian companies. And there are various other projects which are being funded by Asian Development Bank, World Bank, and this USAID agency, which is, they call it Millennium Challenge Account. So these are all the big funding agencies and organizations, IMF for Mongolia, and there are a lot of big infrastructure work which keep coming up. And Indian companies, we have already contacted some of the big companies to participate in these projects and increase the Indian presence in Mongolia. So because most of the information is already available on the internet, so I would not like to repeat all that. So with that, I can only invite you, those whoever is interested, to come to Mongolia, be my guest here. You will not face any food problem. I know this is one of the coldest, one of the coldest country in the world. Especially the capital is the coldest capital. But having said that, it's very comfortable. Even during -30, we are very comfortable indoors because of the centralized heating and everything. Yeah. So I remember receiving this Bollywood singer, Mohit Chauhan. He was here 2 years ago, and I heard from his, because of course these Bollywood stars, they travel a lot, especially to exotic destinations for shooting and all this. So I remember his word. He said, like, this is not something which we usually, which we go on our daily tours. This is, he called it like an exotic, beautiful, or not something, so he said this is an, sorry. So he called it an exotic destination. So I would like to invite all of you, whenever it's conducive, to please buy your ticket and come to Mongolia, and rest everything leave on me to take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of an Indian. Now, he's an Indian, he is inviting us to Mongolia. I have an interesting person, Mr. Vijay Kumar Devarajan. He is from London. In fact, he is giving a detailed talk on Friday. But, since he's there, I told him, why don't you give a small soundbite? Because he is doing an immense work in the UK. Many other number of associations he's associated with is so many. And the way he's bringing up, Indians and the way forward in UK also, even on the political circle, he's well connected. I would like him to give a few soundbites before we come to the sort of final round between our other previous speakers. Mr. Vijay Kumar. So you are unmute, please. Unmute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Dr. Sekhar, and it's highly delighted to just speak before you and all the dignified audience. Say, my name is Vijay Kumar Devarajan. I am from Chennai. I finished my law, and then after a brief practice of law, then I moved to work for a bank called HSBC. I worked there for 12 long years, and then moved to UK around 17 years back. I live with my family in the UK, and we have a legal firm, and I am a part of the legal firm as a lawyer in the UK. We serve primarily the Indian community for settlement in the UK. Either they want to come here, or they already come here. They want to bring the family after their marriage, or bring the children. If the children are born, applying for the British passport, all those things we do. And apart from that, what we do, we connect with the Indians across the world. In fact, we travel abroad the world. We went to the last previous year, like 2019, we went to Malaysia, Singapore, Dubai, then went to Pondicherry, Chennai to do a network meeting to connect with Indians there, and to promote business opportunities in Malaysia, Singapore. People who want to go do business or connect with Indians across there. Okay, that's what we do. And apart from that, in UK, we are very, very strong. We connected with Indians in UK throughout in terms of political, in terms of economical or lobbying for the government support for our businesses. We do all those things. So we got Indian Business Network, we got Yorkshire Indian Business Network, we got GoPio, the various organizations will network. And we will also liaise with the government of India on various issues at government of Tamil Nadu. In fact, when former CM of Tamil Nadu came to UK in 2019, the same year, we had a meeting with him in the parliament. And also we invite Indians to be honored in the British Parliament along with the British MPs. So we'll select people across the world, and we invite them for a network meeting, and then we do an awarding ceremony for them. So we will promote, encourage our Indian entrepreneurs, businesses across the world. That's what we do. So I don't want to say much about UK and UK's contribution in terms of education or business or support or a growth in various countries. Sekhar is the authority on that, and I'm sure everyone knows about it. Dr. Sekhar wrote a lot of books on that. So I want to keep my things ready. So probably on Friday I'll have probably a little bit long discussion or a presentation on that. So briefly, about UK history and geography of UK. Now we come out of the European Union recently. So what is happening is now the enormous opportunity for Indian businesses or Asian businesses to move to UK. So we are in short of people and businesses. So government gives a lot of opportunity for Indians to come in terms of sole representatives, in terms of startup visas. So people want to come to UK to settle, start their business, bring the family and to settle. Okay, in terms of, there is no doubt about Indian talents and potentials in the UK, which has been highly regarded, respected. My earlier career for 7 years, I used to work supplying staff for the hospitality industry, where Indian talents are much rewarded and appreciated, and they are very much needed here for their business. Okay, and now if you look at it, India, now our Prime Minister Boris Johnson was supposed to come to UK twice, once in January, once in April. It got cancelled. So when some Prime Minister of UK or any country want to come to India twice in a year, the importance of the India which is going to be needed in the UK. And so unfortunately this was not happen because of the COVID. I'm sure this will sometime happen this year or beginning of next next year. So this is to reiterate like the talents for the Indians and Indians' contribution for UK and the globe. So probably we'll reiterate and give figures and facts on our next session on Friday. We'll do that. And yeah, so in fact, the points would like to say is like the highest paid earners in the UKs are from Indians in terms of doctors, engineers, IT professionals. So they're all from India. Yeah, so there's a lot more to be covered on Friday. So we'll catch up on Friday, Dr. Sekhar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for, one more reason why I also wanted him to talk about. Today, many of these things we are saying that, at one stage we used to say, sun never sets on British Empire. He's from the British Empire. And we say now sun never sets on the overseas Indian, which also he's representing. So he has got a dual role. One as a person from a British legacy, and one as a person who is the overseas Indian. So sun never sets on people like him as a British Empire and as a overseas Indian. So now coming to a short, small thing, that many of you have got your second generations in place. In fact, Pitchay himself is a second generation in Malaysia. What do you feel as we go ahead? Will the children take over whatever we are saying, whatever we are doing? Or they may say, no, we are a different breed. Where does India come in picture? Why should we have anything to do with India and still grow? I mean, nothing negative about it. But what is your take, especially if Dr. Pitchay and Arun? They may be able to answer better because they got more than a teenage children. Dr. Pitchay, you can start. And then Arun can say. And of course, Ganesh also, I would like, because Ganesh has got the teenage children. Your mic, you might unmute.
Unmute. Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay. Coming back to the third generation, that is our children's. In fact, my boys, I got 4 boys and 1 passed away and leaving 3 of them. And the eldest kid is in Indonesia as an expatriate. He's the operation manager for a company, oil pump company, and their goods are all manufactured and sent to US. And the third son is in Singapore. He's a mechanical engineer, like what Arun is, and he's graduated from the University of Nanyang University in Singapore. And he's the Asia Pacific Regional Manager for Halliburton, US company. And because of the COVID, he is stationed in his own house and doing his office work from the house. And the last kid is an operation manager with a big company known as for tunnel projections. They're doing the LRT, light rail transits tunnel project. And to them, they're all have applied ready for PIO, and all of them have got their PIO. And they want their children to be educated in India. Now they're all in international schools in Malaysia. The guy in Singapore, I think, has put his fat child or something like that. He's spending nearly about 100,000 a year for the children to do up their studies. And the eldest fella is in Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia. And his 2 kids are girls. They're all international school. And the young one is still young. The boy just got married and got 2 young kids. Another one who passed away got 3 children, all from international school. And they're doing extremely well. And they've got good marks. And purposely they are to go for overseas for their education and so on. So they have still the love for India.
Okay.
And my children are sharing with me that they like to buy big properties either in Bangalore, because they like Bangalore very much, and or if the Tamil Nadu means Trichy, because Trichy and otherwise not Chennai. Chennai they don't like. So this is the situation, and they are completely cultured. They're all Indian culture. They doesn't have any Western culture in them, and they follow the father's footstep. I don't drink, I don't smoke. Likewise, my children all do the same thing. And by God's blessing, they got the grandchildren will be the 4th generation. Maybe they may go overseas. I do not know. They may migrate to Australia or wherever they like, because we do not know their fate. But basically, they still love Malaysia because Malaysia is, in fact, we got all the resources in our country. It's a very beautiful nation. We don't have any form of hazards like typhoon or this and that, like Indonesia is facing. It's fully mountain. That's why when Rajaraja Solan first came to Kadaram in Kedah, he named it as Malay Nadu. Malay Nadu is a hilly country. That's how we got the word Malay. And there's another part of, we call it the East Sabah and Sarawak. So in fact, the children are very happy here. And maybe the younger children do not know the fourth generation, what is in their mind. But I have a big, plan to buy up a property in Bangalore, either in Trichy or so.
Thank you. That means the second generation at least is there. Arun also may have a few minutes comment. Arun, then.
Yeah, Arun is the first generation. He's the second generation now. He's residing in Singapore, so he loves Singapore very much.
Arun is
okay.
Arun.
Yeah, actually, it so happened for me. I was thinking of going back after 5 years or even less than 10 years. It so happened I had to stay here for my children's school education. Do not get disturbed. It was the festivals, especially the temples, festivals, cultural bonding in Singapore. Fantastic. And my eldest boy, by the way, I've been blessed with 3 boys. It's a boys brigade. Eldest is a researcher, is a scientist. He has done a thesis in laser technology, basically a mechanical engineer with a PhD. He's a researcher. To get connected with the motherland, yes, of course, he got married, and the girl from India, my daughter-in-law from India. So the connection for the next generation has already been established.
Very good. Ganesh, what do you say?
And the second son is another top ranker. When all my kids were too small, less than 10 years, I happened to meet up with my great admirer, Dr. Kalam. We were all the great fans of Dr. Kalam. Okay, so it is. I would say that Dr. Kalam's blessing has made my children to do well in their studies. My second son, he was telling, Dr. Kalam is my role model. I want to become a rocket scientist. Currently, he is pursuing undergraduation final year in aerospace engineering. And the third boy is in the army. Three children. Okay, so I think I did my duty to a certain extent to say that the connectivity with my motherland. Once I said, Dr. Kalam, sir, Singapore is my Say Nadu, India is my Thai Nadu.
Okay. Good. Ganesh, what do you say about your children? You have got children in your 20s, probably.
Yes, both are in 20s, Doctor. Dr. Sekhar, both are in 20s and both are well connected with Indian values and Indian culture. As I was saying today, no, both were not born there. They both were born in India.
Okay.
But both have been in Australia from the childhood days. My son came here when he was 3.5 years old, and my daughter was here when she was 6 months. In fact, she just came to India for delivery.
Okay.
So she was.
How is the relation with just a 2-minute comment? It's not a long. Yeah. Just to know what is the generation gap which will happen.
So they are basically well connected to India and Indian culture, and I think it is all depends on the parenting and the environment what we give it to them. As I was saying, today is the festival day, and they all are celebrating and doing Aarti of Radharani. So that signifies that how much connected they are with our culture and they are with the things. Professionally, both are highly educated and doing well in their life, which is good.
Hopefully, what do you feel as a side remark? The next generation, will they be as much Indian? Will they be?
I can give only speculations, Doctor, with no experience in that particular arena. My answer will not be based on the real-time experience, but I can take cues from what Mr. Pitchay has told, or what Mr. Ganesh has told, or what Mr. Arun has told. I think it is all the reflection of the kind of parenting that we are trying to deploy onto our kids. Okay, the way in which we are going to cascade the value system, if it is going to be cascaded properly, I think they will get to know the importance of the Indian values and the culture, and they will stand by the principles of the Indian values and culture, and they will become the cultural ambassador, regardless of the fact whether they are staying in Australia or in Fiji or in Malaysia or in Singapore or in Timbuktu or in Mongolia, any country for that matter. Okay, because the one commonality that is binding us is the, as you said, yes, the hospitality is there in the blood and the humanity is there in the nerve. Okay, so these two things, you tear them apart, it is not going to be going out of their DNA. Okay, because that is a basic building block.
That's true. Okay, now I'll request Akram. Akram.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sekhar, for sharing this wonderful session. A lot of, again, sense of pride from our experts from enjoying different part of the world, from Australia to Malaysia to Indonesia to Singapore. Singapore, I have been there for a couple of weeks. A wonderful place.
Welcome.
For business. I have also been to Europe, couple of countries. So wonderful, I think. Yeah. So coming back to the values we were sharing, that how much value still are there, and we are transferring it to our next generations. Wonderful to see, Ganesh. Very, very nice to know about how you are imparting value, and I'm really very happy we have Professor Vivek Nagpal. Yeah, Professor. Yeah, wonderful to have you. I don't know whether you've spoken. I'll be very happy to have a couple of comments from you or observation from you also on the topic. Professor Vivek is doing wonderful work in Europe, promoting India as well as connecting India with Europe. So yeah, can we have some?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Hawk. And thank you all for your comments. I've been listening, enjoying the stories of love and marriage and children and keeping our bonds with India in different ways. I think I will focus my comments on the education side. Of course, you all have mentioned education as mostly as parent. Briefly, I'm about 31 years based in Netherlands, with also several years in Spain. My wife is from Spain, and I've had the opportunity to work and live also in Sweden. And by God's grace, I've been able to keep my bond with the motherland by doing various education projects back from my student days across India. And it has also helped that my father was in the army, and already when I was studying in India till my graduation, we had moved every 3-4 years from cities. So I've stayed in all the command headquarters and army headquarters. So that has helped us to keep in touch. So what I see now is looking at the topic of today. I think we are opening up. Netherlands has just yesterday, today the Prime Minister will announce that the 1.5 meter rule has been abandoned, and the flights are on. I just booked my flight yesterday to Delhi without having to get to the embassy for special permission or whatever. So we are slowly but surely opening up here in Europe, and that with that I mean particularly EU countries, but of course UK still, and which means that we can now, at least in our mind and in our activity, get back to normal. So we should really try to meet in person and interact in person. And I hope to see most of you in India. If you are in India, I'll be traveling to various cities. But just some couple of things, I think, on the challenges for students and parents, of course. One is admission. So now admission happens usually through agents, and they come and provide all the information. Pandemic must have also shown all of you how important it is to have the human relation, the personal relation, and especially when we are having a issue when you cannot travel and you cannot go back or are stranded, or God forbid some other problem happens like getting sick. or a tragedy in the family. So these personal relations have in fact even become much more important than pre-pandemic. If I run a business, if I had not cultivated and maintained my relationships across India and Europe, I would have been out of business. It's only my goodwill and the personal relationship that somebody gives you an opportunity to continue working. So I think this is very important, which means that when we are planning the education of our children or our students, or some of you are academicians and directors in universities, we have to now more than before be cognizant of the fact that you need to cover for all contingencies, which are also related to accommodation, security, safety, medical, visa, link up with the embassy, etc., etc. And this cannot be left to the student. Of course, we should encourage that this boy or girl is actively engaging with the community. I think this is important, and that's where the Indian diaspora comes. For Indian diaspora, when I came to Holland back in 1991, and I started looking for courses, already then, if I had not had a good advice from a alumnus from Maastricht School of Management, who told me that, Vivek, you are 20 years, your father is ready to use his pension to fund your studies in a business school, but for heaven's sake, don't do it, because you have not got any experience and you will not benefit from the MBA in a business school. Go to a Dutch university, learn the language, integrate, and then move from there. I did that. It's the best advice a NRI could have given me in the last 31 years. So now fast track that, I see all kinds of student challenges where they need to connect not only from the personal, emotional, religious, festival side. The Indian diaspora is extremely influential, is extremely well networked, is very well integrated, because we are very humble, nice, warm, kind people across the world. And we must ensure that the Indian diaspora is now involved more than what is our traditional, ties that, somebody goes and buys a property somewhere, or goes for marriage, or goes to visit the family, or, I think now the time has come. Of course, government has done a lot of outreach in the last 10 odd years, which is very good. But I think it's time for the diaspora to really come forward and help more concretely. And platforms like this and personalities like Akramji are very useful, because they give us an opportunity to make ourselves useful in India without having to go through all the processes and all the time consuming interactions and all. So that would be my main comment, that we need to help each other to support our work for India and to help our country to rebound and get back, because we have suffered a lot emotionally and intellectually and economically, and we have huge challenges on the security side and other things, not political instability, but there's a lot of tension. And our love and our commitment and contribution is more needed than ever before. I'm very closely connected with Mr. Akram Haq. I'm available. I'll also text my email to you. Please do drop a line or connect on LinkedIn and let us meet while I'm in India. I hope to be there from 11th of December onwards for 3 months. So I'll be going all over the country. So look forward to working with all of you. And I wish the event all the success. And thanks a lot, Akram Bhai, for the invite. He just told me this morning. So that's why I'm not a little bit in between, but I will definitely follow up with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Nagpal. You continue doing good work. We are always with you. I will not further the discussion. It is already 4 p.m. I will end the discussion with a couple of good points, which I got from this program and many of the previous programs we have done. My first point is you NRIs, not we. You are already doing fantastic work for yourself, for the country, for the world. There is no doubt in the fact. There are 4 areas we want to work. Policy Times, Dr. Sekhar, me, myself, and we all want to do. Number 1, we want to create Indian version of World Economic Forum. Why should World Economic Forum be in Switzerland? Why can't the similar thing can be in India? If this is the era of India, why can't we all come together to do something even bigger than maybe World Economic Forum or something similar? But let us bring the world leaders into our lands and develop the global policies or global framework. That is one. The second thing, we need to bring a lot of industrialization, investments into our states. Now, let us not talk about India. We need to also bring because when we talk about India, we often underestimate the power of states. Ultimately, money goes to the state. We need to target a particular state. Let us bring let us, give a direction in terms of, if it is Tamil Nadu, let us bring 200 companies into Tamil Nadu and develop a particular sector there. Let us target, if it is Karnataka, then Karnataka. If it is Maharashtra, Maharashtra. Or any state, Odisha, whichever target. Can we work together on that line? On that, I have a couple of suggestions and actually your cooperation for future. Number 1, to all my NRI Indians, my request is, overseas Indians, you have been investing enough money into real estates. Let that continue. My humble request to you, can we now start investing into our startups and generate some employment in the land, in our country? Can we, so if we cannot do business, can we then encourage and invest into a lot of startups? That is one small request. The second request and suggestion would be, can we also invest some money now into public infrastructures? Maybe it is a toilet, but let there be a public infrastructure development in the country, supporting the government initiatives, or maybe schools, or maybe hospitals, which is also happening. It is not that not entirely happening. Let us expedite it further so that at least we meet the objective where there are gaps. And the third one, let us connect our startups with the global ecosystem or global business ecosystem. There are thousands of or millions, in fact hundreds and millions of startups mushrooming in India. Let them be the next unicorns. If the unicorn number is encouraging, let that even be double, triple, and 4 times. Let we be the next global hub. And if you support Indian startups, imagine if you invest into Reliance or big farms or Tata, the yield that it brings to the nation is less than your investment to the startups. So let us invest, or let us take startups as the most nation building instrument for the development paradigm that we. So with this, I will not, and of course the government mechanism. With this, I will not extend. I really humbly thank each one of you.
Dr. Sekhar, can I say something?
Who is that?
Yeah. Can I talk a bit?
Yeah.
What is important, since we have a very meaningful meeting today, and we have been connected with a lot of people. My humble request, if any business people from all over on the panels they can kindly connect with my India Malaysia Global Commerce Federation.
Correct.
And it will be very helpful, whereby we can work together. And like just now, I also agree with Akram. It's a good move and a good proposal he has put forwarded. And whatever that is feasible, we will work out it. And I think you can put it on our group. The group will have a big group. In fact, I have a lot of multi-millionaires in my group, the Malaysians. And they may have some ideas of investing millions of dollars in foreign, especially in India. Because a guy who has bought 15 acres of land in Trichy and has built up 5 bungalows, and he wants to make it as a homestay. So, and we have a lot of others. So what I want Dr. Sekhar to give me and help to connect all these people into the group so that we can interact and communicate and connect with them. Because it's a golden opportunity for me to say these words. And I hope the other panel speakers will also, like we have people from Singapore, Mr. Arun can connect with us. And we have what you call from other countries like Fiji or whatever it is. They can also connect with us. And we will try to give more business to the Indian counterpart as well as the other countries. With that, I thank you again for giving me the opportunity to participate in this program and these panel speakers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Very nice. We'll do that next. Okay.
Thank you so much for promptly responding to my request, sir, to my proposal. Really wonderful to have your And I think with this, I think we formally, I'm very happy to see Vangchure sir also joining us and but thank you, Dr. Sekhar. Can we conclude this discussion?
Yeah, I'll give a small final thing. Yeah, thanks to all the speakers, and we have been through various countries, various time zones, and this overseas Indians have got a lot of things to play, lot of things to contribute, lot of things to gain. It is not like olden days when somebody is going abroad, please what you can get for me. Right from a small kid asking for a toy, even the elders used to ask for a different type of a toy. So today it is mutual gain. Today it is as much gain for the overseas Indians and as much gain for the Indians here. Because you take just toys as an example. There's enough things to do. You take high tech like Arun is doing, highest tech. There are also a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on in space. And in all this thing, only one small thing where we have a debate and we differ, either we do not have to come back to India. You can be wherever you are and still be an Indian. Because India is a country of multiple countries. India itself, 206 countries put together, like I told. So we are something where we can be in whatever we are. Tomorrow an Indian may be in Malaysia and you may be in India, and we can make both the countries grow. With that, I will conclude today's excellent program. And also Professor Nagpal, whom I didn't know. Thank you, Mr. Nagpal, for coming and addressing. And I have our friend Parsavi also. I don't know whether he's listening. He has been also very highly cooperative and very highly encouraging in whatever we are doing. And so we conclude and with thanks to Vangchure is there. He is a big person in agriculture and agro. He is doing a lot of work in Ayurveda. Lot of original work. He has got medicine which has cured 20,000 COVID patients. Okay, and as per government record, his claim. So there are many who are doing excellent job, which is good for the whole world. And let me thank and formally Akram can conclude.
Thank you. I think long discussion. Dr. Partha, very warm welcome. Also, I didn't see you. Wonderful to have you, and you're also doing excellent work. So with this, formally, to all our viewers who are watching us in Facebook and YouTube, Policy Times is committed for nation building and national development. Let us work together to bring a positive change for our society. Thank you. Keep watching the Policy.